off? I'll take it.
All right, I'm going to start this meeting, DPW Subcommittee, Tuesday, June 21st, 6 p.m. in the Veterans Room. Call to order. Roll call, Marquetti is here. Council Steves is here. Kevin Swain.
Here.
Steve Lazo.
Here.
Joe Dow is absent. Agenda item number 3, consider and approve the joint DPW Town Council meeting minutes of May 17th, 2022.
Motion.
Oh, I'm going to abstain. I wasn't here.
You have a chance to look it over?
Yes, I did.
This afternoon I did.
I hadn't, but I was good here.
Okay. All those in favor?
Abstain.
I voted to abstain myself.
All right, thank you. Citizens Forum, anybody? Citizens here want to say anything? Have anything to say?
I
No?
got something, Mike.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
Town manager's not coming tonight.
I think he will be here.
He's in a meeting right now with Mr. Love from Council Love.
There's something that needs to go to him, I guess, so I don't know how you want to handle that. I want to bring out, we've done it through the previous DPW director. I don't think it's fair to lay it on Matt since he's interim, so I think the town manager should get involved as far as Main Street goes with the, over 2 months ago, we had Heather ask Lynch to repair those potholes that are on Main Street, and they've been asked twice, I believe, through the director, and we still haven't got nothing, and I think now it's time that the town manager should step in and really get on them. I mean, a $4 million plus project, and I mean, in my opinion, that's a slap in the face
Okay.
to us. You know, I know we're trying to get some warranty work out of them, but them potholes just, they're getting worse, so I don't know how you want to address that. I just think it should go through the town manager at this point now.
All right.
Well, he was there on the walk. And
Right,
We all
but I
want-
mean, we've
Yeah, we all-
been asking for over 2
Right.
months now,
Okay.
we should put that
so
in.
I don't know how you want to handle that.
Well, we'll put it on the next agenda. In the meantime, I've been talking to the town manager, and I'll mention it to him again.
And I don't mind bringing that to Lynch, and I'll just give you a quick update. We received, our engineer VHB responded to Lynch's proposal for how they want to fix the road with our rebuttal today. So that was sent to Lynch today, so we're awaiting their response.
I just don't want to lay it on you, because I know you want, in the beginning, when Heather was sending the letters, I know you have a lot on your plate now.
Yeah, I didn't see the request to patch the potholes, but I've been closely involved with all the maintenance, the warranty work requests.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you, Mr. Disjardin. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
can I ask a question through you to the acting DPW? So is it fair to say that the town has been actively engaged in that project to ensure that whatever responsibility is on either side is being addressed fully by the town of Southbridge?
Yes, so VHB responded to Lynch's proposal on our behalf, and
I just want to, for the record,
Yes.
the town of Southbridge has been actively engaged
yes,
with this firm and all parties to make sure that it's resolved to a correct and satisfactory basis for the town of Southbridge.
yes.
That's all we need to know. Thank you.
Are you all set?
I am, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Jovan. Okay, nothing else? Agenda item number 5, discuss Time Bond's proposal to add a full-time construction observation services to the West Street Improvements Project for an additional fee not to exceed $103,000 to be funded from Chapter 90. Entertain a motion to recommend approval
moved.
of this
Second.
contract. Go ahead, Mr. Disjardin.
This is a proposal from Time to provide full-time oversight similar to what they've been providing on South Street, which has worked out very well for our department with short staff. Hopefully, by the time this project gets started, we may also have a engineering assistant at least, if not either a new director or a new town engineer. But in the meantime, I think it would be prudent to accept this proposal anyway, because I don't think that we should take the new engineering assistant and stick him on this project full-time, and expect to get the level of service that we're going to get from Time Bond, who designed the project and would be overseeing.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Spine?
My question would be, and I don't know who can answer it, what Matt started getting there, as far as this new assistant to the engineer, what's the status with that position? Because, I mean, to spend another $103,000 on top of, I think we already approved $40-some-odd thousand for that position, I mean, we're gonna be paying close to $150,000 for a one-year project, and we're trying to hire a guy for, I don't know, $80,000, $90,000 for this position. I mean, I just think it's foolish to spend another $103,000 on somebody we're trying to hire, but nobody knows what the status is as far as that.
The status is that we are interviewing people on the 30th, I believe. We have 5 applicants, and we're trying to schedule them all for interviews that day.
So I can't support this at this time for that position, since we're trying to hire somebody to do that position now. I just think that's throwing money out the window.
Okay. Before we continue, I'd like to make note that Councilor Dow is here. Also, Mr. Justardon, could you just let people finish, and then if you want to talk, just I will call on. Thank you. Anybody else?
Nope.
I have the same concerns that Mr. Splain has. We are going to hire someone to be a full-time construction oversight, so I don't see the need to hire an additional oversight on this project. I know that there's been some interest in that position, so I would rather us hold off on this until we know what's going on with that. Get somebody in there. Councilor Steves?
Through you, Matt. So if we were to hire this person in time to do something with this project, how much time do you think they'd be actually able to devote to this project?
Really the duties of that person haven't really been, I mean, they have a job description, but the duties are either going to be set by myself or the new director.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how we allocate their time. We could put them out here 100% of the time. I won't have the opportunity to be working with them closely and guiding their, kind of directing their work. They won't have intimate knowledge with the design of this project because they're just coming in not to, which isn't to say that they wouldn't be able to there's also the question of, I mean, depending on who we choose, what their qualifications are and what their specialties are, and if they have familiarity with installing water pipe, if they have familiarity with installing sewer pipe, drain, if their specialty is roads,
Right.
so whatever their specialty is. So I still think it's a good idea to take this proposal so that we have the designing engineer reviewing the work that's being done so that we can ensure that it's being done according to plans and specs.
And at this point, we have what, 4 projects that are ongoing, something like that? 4 major projects?
We have South Street ongoing. My road construction project is bidding next week. We have Crane and River just taking off on the design side. East Main Street's already in design on that side. We're trying to wrap up the warranty work on Main Street. We have, and that's just our projects and just our projects that are on roads. I also have projects going on at the wastewater treatment plant and other projects that we need to put up.
Answer the phone or I'm whooping your ass.
Sorry.
Answer the phone or I'm whooping your ass.
So I just, my concern is
Can't talk.
bringing someone in and as the engineering assistant and not having any time to orient them and get them familiar with the DPW and our functions and our standards and everything before throwing them up onto a $3 million project to oversee it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Thanks.
You all set?
It's paid.
Counselor Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick one. Did you say the project starts next week on the west, or when does it start?
No. The contracts are just being signed, I believe, so it should be kicking off soon, but I don't know if they're going to be pushing to get out there immediately because they have a certain amount of work that they can do during the summer. They should be able to start on the drains and start on sewer, but ductile line and pipe is, they probably, if they order it as soon as they get their contracts, they probably won't have it delivered till January. So unfortunately, the water work is not going to get done during the summer. So that'll end up taking place next spring probably.
So when they start digging, when do you look at them starting to dig?
It could be within a month.
Okay, thank you.
You all set, Counselor?
Yeah, thank you.
Counselor Dow?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So that position is another one from the one we approved, the 93,000?
The engineering assistant,
Yeah, that's a different one?
different position from.
Yeah, no.
What he's asking, if I may.
Hold on, I know what he's asking, but
He's asking,
Let him answer.
they're asking to spend $103,000 for tie and bond to have another guy doing oversight on West Street.
So another-
On top of the guy we're trying to hire for the town year round at whatever you guys approved it at.
Yeah.
I just think if you guys are viewing this person as a person who's going to be on our biggest road project 100% of the time, all the time, I don't know how that will end up working out for us, but I have concerns about that.
I continue, Mr. Chair?
Sure,
So
go
you-
ahead.
Thank you. So you think if we only have that person who already approved the budget for the 93,000, I think only for the road and all these projects, that'd be enough, and then you can hire a different one for inside the...
Not clear on the question. I think that, especially in the first few months of this person's employment, it would be better to get them acclimated to the functions of the DPW and our standards and our specifications. They can familiarize themselves with these projects and go out and check on them, but I don't think that it's the best plan to put them on these jobs 100% of the time out in the field, which is what we would be getting from time bond.
So now those people who get, and they have no experience at all, we have to train them and then you put them out there.
They have the applicants. We haven't hired somebody yet. The applicants have a varying level of experience.
Thank you.
All right. The other thing I want to point out is, according to this document here, in the event that the scope of work is increased for any reason, the fee to complete the work will be mutually revised. And we know that almost every project we do in this town continues to have multiple change orders, so their fee will continue to increase. Whereas if we hire somebody, as we're planning to do, their fee will not go up. They will just get paid their full-time pay. So I still have to agree with Mr. Splain. It's my own feeling that we are hiring somebody. I think that they will be able to oversee just the construction part of this. Ty and Bond will also be there part-time, and they will be able to work with Ty and Bond on this. So, does anybody else have anything they want to say on this? If not, we'll have a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? So it'll still go up to the town council with a negative recommendation. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, review bid results for replacement of primary clarifier number 2 at the wastewater treatment plant. Discuss awarding the contract, including alternates 1, 2, and 3 to Sherburne Consolidated Incorporated for a total of $297,548 to be funded from a dedicated project account for wastewater treatment plant primary clarifiers. Entertain a motion to recommend approval of such contract to the council.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Milazzo and Steves. Okay, Matthew, go ahead.
Okay, so I put this bid together as Heather was exiting, we met with the sewer department manager, and we had a lot of money still in his in-budget capital accounts. And this is kind of a Hail Mary to spend some of that money. I think this has turned out great, the way the bid came out. Basically, my recommendation is to award up to additive alternate 3 to Surebond. They were the low bid if you include those 3 alternates. And this project would replace the drive for primary clarifier number 2. It would provide us with a new drive, which we could either, depending on the lead times, either install currently, or we can install a refurbished drive that we have on hand and hold the new drive as a spare. And then we will also be able to sandblast and paint, repair, sandblast, and paint the ironworks of both primary clarifier number 2 and number 1. For $297,548. Surebond Consolidated is currently wrapping up our sludge conveyor project, and they're a fantastic contractor to work with. I couldn't be happier with their performance on that project.
Okay, any questions? Anyone? I do have a couple questions. First of all,
Sure.
This base bid here, to use the refurbished drive, bid price $42,000. Alternative 1 is to furnish a new drive, and then you're adding the total to the refurbished. So which is it? Are we using the refurbished or the new one?
Either way, we have a refurbished drive on hand, and the base bid was to take out the existing drive, which is from the 1980s, and put in the refurbished drive. Depending on the lead time on a new drive, we're going to order the new drive if we accept alternate 1. But depending on the lead time, we'll either choose to install the new drive, or if the lead time's too long, we'll instead install a refurbished drive and have the new drive on hand as a spare. The spare fits, I believe, 4 of our 5 clarifiers, our 2 primaries and 2 of our secondaries, which are all original 1980 except for primary clarifier 1, which was replaced as one of my first projects when I came here. And that's the drive that's refurbished and on hand currently.
But you're not going to be installing both of them, so why is there a cumulative total here?
The cumulative total is the base bid, which is the replacement of a drive. That involves the setting up of a crane, removal of the catwalk, and the drive assembly itself, and the installation of a drive, whether it's refurbished or new.
Okay.
The furnishing of the new drive is just the price for them to hand us a new drive.
I see. Is there something wrong? There's nothing wrong with a refurbished drive.
Not at all.
No.
That's why we're proposing to install it.
Okay. The other thing is, I would recommend we use ARPA money for this, only because I don't have any problem with okaying this. I know it has to be done. But I know that we have ARPA money. The primary use of the ARPA money is for infrastructure use. So I have no problem with voting on this, but I'm thinking maybe we should at least recommend they use ARPA money on this project, because this would save the ratepayers in the long run. They don't have to keep refurbishing or replenishing the capital budget, in my opinion. So does anybody else have any thinking about that, or any comments about using? I know that Councilor Adams will have something to say about this. Go ahead, Councilor Adams.
Quick question. I don't have a problem bringing it in front of the ARPA committee at all, but when is this? When do you have to have this done? Because our next meeting is not until the 14th.
As I'm hoping to get moving on this as soon as possible, though the way we're planning to fund it is from in-budget capital, but I have the next item is to transfer the money for this project into a project account, which we could access at any time.
Where's it come from? I apologize.
It's in-budget sewer
It's in-
capital.
Oh, okay, got it. So if we look at it at the 14th, which is a proposed ARPA, our next meeting, our next town council meeting for the town council's approval or disapproval will be the 25th of July. So is that too late in the ballgame? Is this something
I'd like to move on it sooner. I also think that they have close to $500,000 in budget capital, and as hard as I tried at the last second to spend as much of that as possible. 50,000 of it was for a couple of tiny roofs at the wastewater treatment plant. I thought the labor would be under $50,000, so I went out on a state bid list to get prices. One came back at 100 grand, and one came back at 200 grand, just for the labor, insulation, and blocking and fasteners. So that was a no-go. And Jim was also working on at the wastewater treatment plant, was working on a couple other things, and those he was unable to get within procurement law and the time frame that we got. So we'll be handing back a few hundred grand or more in budget capital money from the sewer department anyway. So I thought it was prudent to spend the money that we had in budget there. But it's up to you guys how you work on this project.
I recommend them spending the money they got there and we utilize the ARPA money, but it's up to the subcommittee and the town council needs. If the money's there already, set aside instead of handing it back over, we, obviously do another account next year. Just utilize the money that's there, and then maybe that $297,000 can be used for something else in ARPA. My recommendation only.
Okay. Councilor Lazo?
I agree. I was wondering why, I want you to explain why ARPA money instead of the capital. The capital would be a clean cut, earmark money that was there, and I think that would be quick, swift.
Okay, I'll explain it if you want me to.
Yeah.
All right. At the July 12th, 2021 Town Council meeting, the Town Manager presented the ARPA money. And in his presentation, he said, he's met with department heads to discuss potential best uses of this revenue, which includes water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. This is an infrastructure project, so that's why I think we should use ARPA money on it. That's my explanation.
Mr. Chairman, through the chair, if somebody could answer, if we go the capital route, isn't it quicker?
Yeah.
That was my only purpose of bringing it towards the capital number, was that it would be quicker to get it done with it being already appropriated. So mine was just on the speed side. I didn't know. I'm not saying using ARPA money is wrong. I just didn't understand. But I thought it would be a quicker, swifter move by doing it to capital.
Well, this isn't going to be voted on until the 27th.
Okay.
And I'm sure the ARPA committee could either meet before then, or it could go right up to the town council, like a lot of other things go out right up to the town council to vote on. I've seen it happen on a lot of things. I'm going to go with Councilor Steves first.
First off, yeah, to Councilor Lazo. Yeah, at the moment, I think it makes sense to go with the capital ones. It's already in our budget now. And the ARPA funds, while Councilor McKetty is right that was the original intent of the ARPA funds, it has since been broadened because of the fact that basically we can use it as we see fit. And we've got a whole long list of stuff on our ARPA item list that we're going to be considering over the course of time, and some of them are much bigger projects than this. So I think it's the ARPA the use of the ARPA money makes sense in some areas that we don't already have plans for. Whereas we already have something set aside for something that can be done for this fairly quickly. And the question I have to go through you to Matt is that if we were to do this new drive, I was curious, first of all, is the issue now that the existing drive doesn't work?
They wear down and there becomes a lot of play in them, and eventually they will fail, but they haven't failed yet. But there's, if you grab the arms, you could probably move them feet from side to side just because of all the wear of the gears, and there's like screw gears and stuff inside of them that tend to wear down over the decades that they've been in place.
Sure. And so how long would this refurbished drive last as compared to a new drive?
I would expect it to last nearly as long because the items that get the most wear are completely replaced or rebuilt with new parts. So I would give it in a capital plan, I would give it a life of 20 years probably. Mm-hmm. These ones have been in place for probably about 35, and we could likely get that much life out of them, but we've pushed these ones as far as we really should be. So we're in the process of moving down the line from primary one where we replaced the first drive a few years ago, and I'd like to move these along maybe year over year and get some other drives replaced as well.
That makes sense.
And there's no shortage of sewer work that we could spend ARPA money on. Tomorrow I could put out a bid to replace the drives in the two secondary clarifiers that are exactly the same as these drives. And I could even do the ironworks and everything like that. I mean, it'd be like a cookie cutter project if we were looking for some additional ways to spend money very easily. And there are plenty of other projects that are less easy to put out the bid, but could also use our funds.
And also, going forward, with the proposal to higher precipitation and climate change, do you expect that these clarifiers will see more wear and tear over time?
Hopefully not, as we work toward the drives themselves. Every time, the whole time that the clarifiers are full, the drives are going. They're spinning around. They're scraping scum off the top and scraping sludge off the bottom. So they really just go 100% of the time, all the time.
Right.
More water into the plant really it might mean that it's more dilute, so it might even be less wear on the drives. But we're working to eliminate I would say that it doesn't really have an effect on the drives. But we are also looking to eliminate INI, which would, despite increasing rainfall, would bring less rain into our wastewater treatment plant.
So just to be clear, you could get away with using the refurbished drive?
Yes, but then we would not have a spare.
Okay.
We always want to have a spare on hand, which we do right now, which is the refurbished drive. We could either install the refurbished drive or a new drive. If we installed the new drive, then we'd have the refurbished one still on hand as a spare for all 4 of the drives that we currently use, or the other way around.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we'll have a vote. All those in favor? 4-0, thank you. Agenda item number 7, discuss sewer transfer request of $297,548 from account number 600-440-58300-22582 sewer plant capital to a new project account number for wastewater treatment plant primary clarifiers to be assigned by accounting.
Motion.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
And this is just for the funding source. I don't think, do you need to say anything about this? I think it's just for the funding
No,
source.
like I said, as you can see on the transfer request form, there's currently $430,000 approximately left in budget capital, and at the last kind of moment, this is the best I could do to spend it within the line items that were specified during their budgeting. There was a line item for primary clarifier, ironworks, and painting, and so that was one of the things I thought would be good to pursue with this.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? All those in favor? Motion approved, 4-0. Item number 8, discuss sewer transfer request of $26,000 from account number 600-440-520-100 sewer maintenance and operating account 600-440-521-000 sewer electricity to cover the cost of actual and projected electricity bills from National Grid and Land of Sky for the remainder of FY 2022. Entertain a motion.
Go ahead. I got a motion.
How much was that? Because I have the old paper.
26,000. Matthew?
So on this, you're going to see several like this. Karen had us go through our National Grid POs and our electricity accounts, and Land of the Sky is the company that does the credits. We buy solar credits from them, and they get allocated according to a Schedule Z, according to a certain proportion to all of our accounts. So you have to predict how many credits you're going to be getting, and how much you're going to be spending on the, which you have to buy, and also how much the National Grid bills that those credits are hitting are going to be. So with our projections, that's how we got to 26,000 for sewer. In order to cover the remaining National Grid and Land of the Sky bills for FY22. Karen worked with me to get these, put all these numbers together.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No questions?
One quick question.
Go ahead, Counselor Steves.
Matt, just a quick question. How does this compare to like last year's electricity bills? I'm assuming it's a lot higher.
The bills themselves, I believe, are higher, but we're in a similar, I don't think they increased the budget at all. For next year, for this year after last year, or for last year, because we've been doing this, we did this last year, we're doing it this year, and we've already set ourselves up to do this next summer, where we're running short on our electricity accounts and need to predict how much the sun's going to shine, so that we can determine how much we need to transfer into these accounts.
So in that case, then how much over the last few years, if you have, I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you, so how much have we been kind of missing them in terms of what we're actually budgeting versus what we're actually?
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me, and I think I did see these while I was working through these numbers, and I want to say it's a similar magnitude that we were short last year and that transfer stuff in. But the way that the solar credits are allocated, and so you get unpredictability with your future bills because you're not sure how much the sun's going to shine and how much credits you're going to get that you have to pay for. But then those credits also hit different accounts, and so you have to predict how much energy is being used, how much credit you're getting, and where the electricity costs are going.
Right.
So the Land of the Sky is pretty easy to predict. National Grid becomes very difficult because it takes in the variability of Land of the Sky, the variability of electricity usage, and the variability of electricity prices. So they might look a lot different, but I think they're on the same magnitude as last year.
You all set? Everybody else? Okay, all those in favor? All right, thank you. Motion passes. Agenda item number 9, discuss DPW transfer request of $16,000 from account number 001-499-530000, specialized services to account number 001-297-521000, street lights, electricity in the amount of $15,000, and account number 001-499-521000-001, DPW various locations electricity in the amount of $1,000 to cover the cost of actual and projected electricity bills for street lights and various town-owned sites from National Grid and Land of the Sky for the remainder of 2022. Entertain a motion to recommend to Town Council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Matthew?
Similar to the last one, this is to cover electricity bills for the remainder of the year for streetlights, which we predicted would have about a $15,000 shortfall, and our various locations account, which we predicted about $1,000 shortfall.
I can say something about that.
All right, any questions? Mr. Lazo?
As I ride around town at night, there are many streetlights that are out. I mean, whose job is it to go take the numbers off the poles and get them turned back on?
There's a lot.
Residents can do
to
that.
Matt.
We don't currently have anybody that would do that job, but if it's something that
I personally have gone around taking numbers off poles and turned them in, and they do fix them.
yeah.
But I don't know if we had anybody riding around at night.
No, our best the best thing is when residents report them to us, we can pass it on to National Grid, but we also ask them to pass it on to National Grid so that it comes from a couple.
Maybe I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and turn them in, and it's,
Yeah,
it'd
you
be
you
better.
bring it to us and to National Grid, then
Yep.
it's coming from a couple different sides, and they'll-
Okay, that can help out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, it's 4-0. Thank you. Agenda item number 10, discuss DPW transfer request of $861.51 from account number 001-499-524-300-001, R&M of buildings other, and $298.34 from account number 001-14999-524-300-0425, R&M of buildings, town hall, for a total of $1,159.85 to account number 001-499-524-300-0499, R&M of buildings, DPW to cover the cost of repairs to the operations office AC system as quoted by Reno HVAC.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So this is in order to repair the AC unit outside of the operations office, which had a leak in the coolant, and so it needs to be, the leak needs to be repaired and it needs to be recharged, and the cost of refrigerant right now is exorbitant. It probably, I don't know if they break it down here, but I believe it was over half of this, or close to half of this. But we have some money left over in town hall and other buildings that we'd like to transfer over so that we have enough money to cover this cost.
Okay, questions, Council Steves?
It just occurs to me that since this was hit by a snowplow back in the winter, did anybody look at the potential of using insurance for it?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I asked if there was any, since it was hit by a snowplow, did anybody look at the potential of using insurance for it?
I don't believe they did. I think it was a new employee for the water department that hit it. Generally, they're doing us a favor and we cover damage that's done by them, including to our own facility. So I don't know if that's an option.
Because I mean, obviously, if we did that, it would end up jacking up our insurance rates. So
Right.
I don't know if it would be a wash either way. I see Jack is.
Check.
Yeah,
Well,
Go ahead.
we also have a deductible, so just because we have a deductible, so
that's true.
town money there, so.
All right, Councilor, Mr. Swain.
The only problem that I see is, according to this pick quote that we got, the only question I have is, it says, so the compressor will hopefully be in good shape. Our technician was not able to verify this. Is there a way we can get that verified if the compressor's good enough before we start throwing
Not
$1,200
that I
at
know
it?
if we're already, so there, if there is a need to replace the compressor, we could cover that under next year's funds. But this would allow us to at least proceed with the work.
To me, it doesn't make sense, though. I mean, we're gonna throw $1,200 to it. We don't know if that part is liable or not, so we're gonna fill it with R-22, and if it's bad, we're gonna drain it back out again at $200 some odd dollars per gallon. I mean, I think we should find out if that compressor's good or bad to begin with before we start spending money on a unit that we don't know if it's good yet.
That makes sense.
Like you said, R-22 is extremely expensive right now. That's my only thing. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I think the driver, he's the one who will be surcharged on his policy, not the town policy. Because he's the driver, he's the responsible, not the...
He's working for the water department. He's working for Whitewater. If our I mean, if our insurance company went after anybody, I would think it would be Whitewater.
No, but I mean, if I'm driving your car, Council Giovanni, and I crash it, your insurance will pay, but my insurance or my record will go up.
If I may.
Hold on, Counselor, let him finish.
So I mean, we are paying the water department employees as though they're basically town employees in terms of plowing.
No, I understand, but what I know, the driver, he's the one get surcharged on his driver license, not the insurance. Because the insurance is not in his name, he's a driver, so technically the insurance should be applied to him. He's the driver, not the.
It's a town vehicle.
He's working for the town.
He's working for the town. I don't think that that's the case.
Okay, Counselor Jovan had something to say?
Through you, to answer this question, because you brought up my name, whether I know or not. It's commercial and governmental employees, the surcharge is not applied to us. You're not surcharged if you have a commercial policy. It's only on personal automobile.
Counselor Steves?
Yeah, also curious, the agenda item says that we're looking at about $1,200. However, if you look at the item in the packet, it says the price is $4,365.
Yes.
Are we just transferring to make up the difference?
Yes.
We are, okay.
Yeah, we have $3,000 or so, maybe $2,000 in the account, and we're looking to make up exactly the difference.
Counselor Dow?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if that's the case, every employee will drive Nicollet, and because he's not gonna be charged for anything. I mean, how are we gonna hold him responsible? I mean, not him specifically, but in the future, town employee, if nothing will apply on his driver, like a record or anything, so anybody can just grab a town vehicle and go do whatever they have to do with it, and then the insurance covered, and he's free from any liability.
Oh, he gets fired for something stupid.
I think he was performing his
get
job
reprimanded and fire him.
in good faith. He wasn't being negligent. He made a mistake. So I don't think that applies.
You also? The only thing I would like to say is that I think you need to get some bollards or a Jersey barrier in front of that system, so this doesn't happen again.
That makes sense.
All right? Thank you. All right, if nobody has anything else, all those in favor? Opposed? Kevin, are you in favor or against?
I'm against, because they don't know if that compressor's good or bad.
All right. You will check on that, Matthew? Could I have somebody check?
I can check. I mean, we can have them come in and spend more money to. We'll have to wait
Well,
till
they'll be
next
there
year
anyway.
probably. We'll probably have to wait till next year or two if we're asking them to come back in because we don't have any additional money in that account.
All right.
And honestly, I can't speak very informedly about things like HVAC. I know the basics, but I'm not a facilities manager. I'm not a HVAC tech, and neither is my operations manager, who's been dealing with Renat on this issue. So this is where I think a facilities manager would be a great idea for the town.
All right, Councilor Dow, I'll let you say something.
Yes,
You've already
yeah.
voted on
Isn't it, we have a company we hire and we pay her salary a year, whatever, to check those, go through maintenance and stuff like that? Make sure.
Yeah, they do preventative maintenance, and that's when they identified this problem. Or I guess we knew that the AC was down anyway, but
But they don't give you a report, because that's a job technically to tell you what's wrong with it. They
Yes.
get and pay for that.
yes, they.
All right,
I don't know the deal with not knowing if the compressors. I don't know what is involved in checking the compressor. Obviously, it seemed like if they're writing it in their report, there was some reason why they couldn't check it. I would assume. If that's not the case,
Thanks.
I don't know.
all right, we'll move on to agenda item number 11, discuss DPW transfer request of $1,600 from account number 001499-548000 motor vehicle parts and accessories to account number 001499-585200 general equipment to purchase 4 string trimmers and 2 cases of 2-stroke oil based on a verbal quote from Park Saw Shop. Entertain a motion to
So
recommend
moved.
to town council. Lazo, Steves. Go ahead, Matthew.
Our mechanic worked on getting these quotes. We need string trimmers and they're in very high demand right now and low supply. So Park Saw Shop had 4 of the ones that we want in stock, along with 2 cases of 2-stroke oil, which is also hard to come by, for a total of $1,600 or less than $1,600. We have some money left over in motor vehicle parts and accessories that we'd like to transfer in order to purchase those.
Okay, any questions? Comments? My only question is, why at the end of the fiscal year, all of a sudden you need these weed whackers? I mean, don't you plan for this?
Yeah.
Don't you plan ahead of time?
And if we don't get them with this year's money, we'll get them with next year's money. Hopefully, as long as they're still available. But they're available right now from Park Saw Shop. We can get them, and we have money in this year's budget that we can use to get them if we transfer it. So we'd like to proceed with that if we can.
The end of the year, we won't be voting on this till the 27th, the end of the year is July 1st, so are you you're going to be able to get these between June 27th?
They're holding them for us pending approval.
Just seems odd at the end of the year. Kevin, go ahead.
Mike, just to follow up, at $1,600 for what they're getting, when you're talking string trimmers, I've had 2 in the last month and a half go down, and they're $400 to $600 a piece. I think that I'll support that.
I just
No
like to
doubt.
see
And they,
some
like Matt said,
planning.
they're very, very hard to get right now to get a good commercial one.
I don't know, I've seen them at Hobson.
Well, that's not
Yeah,
commercial.
that's not commercial.
I went online.
I mean, these guys are going out
Commercial.
7 hours straight with them. I mean, I think that's an excellent price right there.
All right. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. All right. Thank you. Agenda item number 12, discuss amending agenda item number 24 from 5/9/22 Town Council meeting for the Charlton IMA payment from $123,208.34 to $157,112.26. Entertain a motion
So
to
moved.
amend.
Second.
Go ahead, Matthew.
One moment. So, when Karen was reviewing Heather's calculations for the IMA, she found some inconsistencies, and when she totaled up the amounts of water revenues, we got more. Normally it's fairly clear cut. This one was more difficult because 3 of the quarters, I believe, came from, and maybe I have this backwards, but either 1 or 3 quarters was from KVS, and then 1 or 3 quarters was in Munis. And we also had a new treasurer who wasn't used to, well, she's fluent in Munis, didn't know how to get the correct reports from KVS, and didn't really have the access, I think, to KVS that she needed. So it was complicated by that fact. But once we totaled up the revenues, it seemed that the proportion was a little higher than Heather had calculated, and came out to 14.76, which increased the Charlton IMA payment by an additional $33,903.92 to $157,112.26, which is what we're recommending you amend the Charlton IMA payment to.
All right. Thank you. Any questions, Councilor?
Yeah, has the original payment already been paid for?
No.
Okay, I do have a couple questions or comments, I guess. This IMA agreement has always been a sore spot for many councilors. I did ask for it, I received a copy of the agreement. Thank you, Matthew, for that. I see that it's a 25-year agreement, which is it's a long agreement. Looking back at it, It was negotiated by Chris Clark and Robin Craver of the town of Charlton. I don't really know what much we can do about it, except that there is some sections in there that say we can ask for an amendment to it, and I don't see, I would recommend to the town manager that we try, at least try, to amend this if we can. Of course, it's up to Charlton. Charlton has all the rights to terminate it. We don't have any right to terminate it. But we can amend it. And I don't think anybody was foreseeing the booming in Charlton that's taking place. You're going to have Northeast Energy, you're going to have Amazon, you're going to have Walmart, you have the Treehouse. There's a lot of water that we are going to be supplying to Charlton. I don't think anybody was foreseeing that back when this was first discussed in 2011. So all I'm asking, I'm going to vote for this because I realize that there's nothing we can do about it. But I would like to see us at least take a look at amending the agreement, if possible. If that's to the town manager, if you wouldn't mind, at least taking a look at the agreement and see if what you can find on it, because I know several councilors are not too crazy about this agreement. I think it's just reading it over. There's no privilege fees. We waive all privilege fees. That's a lot of money that this town could be making on that agreement. So that's my only comment about it. Anybody else? No? All right, all those in favor? Thank you. Agenda item number 13, I'm sorry. Discuss water transfer request of $33,903.92 from fund number 0610, water retained earnings, to account number 610450569,300, Town of Charlton IMA payment to supplement the transfer request for $123,208.34, approved by the council on 5/9/22, for a total transfer of $157,112.26, which is the revised amount for the Charlton IMN payment. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
So this is just a funding source on the previous, okay.
Correct.
All right. All those in favor? Thank you. Agenda item number 14, discuss an appropriation of $388,980.74 from water retained earnings to the Water Stabilization Fund number 0845, and entertain a motion to recommend that town council approve the appropriation.
Second.
Go ahead, Matthew.
This is the remainder after we transfer that $33,903.92 out of water retained earnings. This is the balance which we want to move into a stabilization fund for safekeeping.
All right.
Okay.
Any questions?
How much is in that stabilization now?
Have to get back to you on that. I think it's about $1 million.
Okay. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 15, discuss water transfer request of $25,000 from 3 accounts. Account number 610450-56100, water, other, legal, in the amount of $8,500. Account number 610450-533100, water maintenance on trees, in the amount of $7,000. And account number 610-450-530000, water specialized services, in the amount of $9,500, to account number 610-450-521000, water and electricity, to cover the cost of actual and projected electricity bills from National Grid and Land of Sky for the remainder of FY22. Entertain a motion to recommend to council. Go ahead.
So this is another transfer to cover projected energy bills. We had to, water's a little better at spending down their accounts lately, so we had to look through a few different accounts to transfer the $25,000 that's needed. But these funds are unused, so we'd like to transfer them for purpose of paying energy bills.
Okay. Any questions? I noticed that the maintenance of trees is untouched.
That's correct. Steve Blanchard was working on getting quotes, but I'm not sure what happened. It just didn't end up happening, so we looked to this account for some electricity money instead.
Okay. All right, I think you should fire Land of Sky.
Should fire National Grid too.
Try that.
All right, all those in favor? Thank you. Agenda item number 16, discuss water transfer request of $31,842 from account number 610450-583-000-91250, Water Capital Reserve to account new project account number to be announced by accounting watershed land acquisition for the purpose of purchasing watershed land. Entertain a motion to recommend.
Second.
I'm actually going to withdraw this one because of the water break over the weekend. We had to bring Hydrotech in to do a live insertion valve. That's probably going to cost about $20,000. And they also did a bit of work on a valve that broke closed during the activation of the South Street water main. That's probably $2,000 or $3,000. We'll have bills from them shortly on this work, and this amount should cover it. I don't want to transfer this into an account for watershed land acquisition and then come next week asking you to transfer money out of stabilization to pay for Hydrotech. So I think it'd be more appropriate to, once I get those bills and get a transfer request that Karen signs off on, to bring this to you at the next DPW subcommittee meeting for transfer into system capital to cover those Hydrotech bills.
Okay, does somebody want to make a motion to withdraw this?
I'll make a motion to
I'll
withdraw
second
that.
it.
We can just pass it over.
I think we should vote on it.
No, I said we can vote to pass it over.
We'll vote to pass it.
I
Pass.
have a quick
Okay.
question before you.
All right, go ahead, Gus.
Matt, I'm just curious. So the original agenda item, does that mean that the negotiations dealing with that property that we were talking about a couple months back have been completed?
As far as I know, only a verbal agreement had been reached, and I believe it was for $30,000, though the specifics, I mean, obviously it was a verbal agreement, so there was room for negotiation. And the additional money was just to cover any additional fees that might be associated with the transfer or legal fees or whatever. That's my understanding of where it stood, but I didn't get as much information as I would have if I was bringing this to you for the actual transfer, because we're stepping back from it and we'll use future funds. We'll find the funds when and if that deal happens.
Okay, all those in favor of passing this over? Thank you. Agenda item number 17. Review, discuss findings in relation to citizens' request in relation to 144 Pleasant Street. Original complaint received indicating issues with people parking too close to or blocking the driveways in the area of 144 Pleasant Street. Upon review of the area and parking issues concerns, Chief Woodson has no issue with moving forward the appropriate signage in the area to indicate no parking. Motion was made and approved to refer this to subcommittee for further review. Approval.
Motion.
Go ahead, Chief.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I've been speaking with the residents in this neighborhood, and if I could withdraw this agenda item, we might be able to work around it without having to come back to council.
All right.
And if not, I'll bring it back to you.
All right, so somebody want
I'll make a motion to withdraw.
I'll second it.
17.
All right. Withdraw. Kevin Splain. Counselor Lazo. All those in favor? Thank you. Agenda item number 18, review, discuss current parking regulations for 150 and 170 Worcester Street. Parking currently permitted within the range of 150 and 170 Worcester Street. Vehicles are parking within 30 feet of the entrance exit for Southbridge Gas, 176 Worcester Street, causing a hazard. Chief Woodson recommended changing parking regulations in the area to not allow parking within 30 feet of the entrance exit for Southbridge Gas. Motion made and approved to forward this to subcommittee for further review.
Second.
Go ahead, Chief.
This one, Mr. Chair, is a little bit, a little more difficult to explain, but I'll try. I'm the chairman of the Traffic Commission. Usually the DPW director sits on that commission. We had our last meeting on May 31st. Obviously, the DPW director is now in another community. We have an acting DPW director who was not present, so I'm kind of trying to go about this on my own just for this meeting, so bear with me. Right now, parking is not allowed between 150 Worcester Street and 170 Worcester Street. The only issue that I see in speaking with elected officials in our community, residents, customers of the gas station at 176 Worcester Street, the owner of the gas station, there's no sight lines when you're pulling out of that gas station. You're essentially pulling onto a state highway. I realize the town operates and maintains the road, and I get all that, but vehicles travel at high rates of speed in that area. 40, 50,000 cars a day travel on that road, so you need to have a good sight line to pull out of that gas station. What I'd recommend, and after speaking with all the residents that are from 150 to 170, the issue is not parking between 150 and 164, the three buildings. The issue is that 30 feet from that parking lot to pull in and exit that gas station. So I would recommend, and not just me, but at our committee meeting, we all recommended that we modify the parking regulation down there, which I appreciated Matt this morning and over the last couple of days trying to help me out with the permit and language and the parking permit number and things like that I'm not familiar with. So what I would ask is if I explained what I want to do, and then we try to get it in front of the council packets for the next meeting on Monday night, but I just want to at least be here to speak to it. So what I would request is we get rid of we change the current parking permit, and I have the number here, but you don't have it in front of you. Right now that allows no parking from 150 to 170, and then in addition to the gas station all the way up Worcester Street to the marijuana store. There's no issue with parking from 150 to 164. So what you'll see, at least for the council meeting, would be we're going to strike the no parking clause where we would request that be voted on from 150 to 164. And I spoke with the DPW today. We went down on the site. We've been over there the last couple of weeks, a couple times to figure it out. We'll put a sign, no parking between signs right in front of 164, clearly marked so nobody parks anymore within 30 feet of that gas station. That's the only issue. And again, kind of a long story short, that whole street does not need to be no parking from 150 to 164. It's just, the big thing is the 170. That building sits right at the entrance to that gas station, and it's an issue. It's going to cause a serious accident. So that would be my recommendation. The only thing that I request is I'd be allowed to submit all of that, what I just spoke to, in writing in a better format, professional and polished, for you to look at and review as councilors before the meeting on Monday night. And I'll be there also, and I can explain it in greater detail. But I didn't want to pull that off the agenda also because I know it has to go to DPW first. Subcommittee.
So, I'm trying to get this straight now. How do you want us to change this?
So what I would recommend would be, currently, and again, we have all the language written out in another format, the permit for that, which was done in 1936, mind you. The original parking regulations was done in 1936. So you cannot park, it's the easterly side, am I correct with that? We've done all this one?
Yep.
From 150 Worcester Street, which is right where the electric store used to be, all the way up past the cannabis company, going into almost Charlton. I have no issue, so what I want to allow is parking, or I request, you're allowed to park if you live there between 150 and 164. So we're just trying to shrink the no parking area. Right now, you can't park anywhere on that side of the road, which, again, it's 1936, so it was a long time ago when those rules and regulations were put in place. We just want to make it so you can't park between, in front of essentially 30 feet from that driveway, which is 170 Worcester Street.
So you just want to change this to no parking?
30 feet from the driveway.
Right.
And that's what the language will say when I get it to you.
Right.
I'll have the permit number, we'll have an addendum attached, we'll have a map. Just things that, again, my apologies, I'm not familiar with. The DPW director handles it. Certainly not Matt's fault. He kind of got thrown into it. But until we have another director on board, I'll kind of be going forward with any issues coming out of traffic committee or commission.
I have no issue sitting in on traffic commission if you'd like me to. Just let me know when they're in the meetings.
Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, right now it is, like you say, sign saying no parking. But the study it's very dangerous, you coming out of the business, but still those driveways locked down in the way out, still kind of having a hard time to go out to the street if another vehicle is blocking the view. So I'm not sure if, I mean, I understand where you come from, you know, because especially businesses, a lot of traffic in and out, but if we eliminate, like you say, you move the sign close to 30 feet only and you leave the other residents parked there, if there's an accident happen after you change it, are the town gonna be liable for changing that? Because there's already now no parking, and then come and change it to, okay, you can park, and an accident happened, they're gonna say, look, we changed it now, look what happened.
No, you know, through you, Mr. Chair, the only issue I would say is with the parking, and not to confuse everybody with numbers and buildings, but 150 to 164, there's more of a setback where they're not parking necessarily on the road. They park closer to the house, and that's never ever an issue in the site line. If they're parked further into the street, it's a violation of being parked too close to the state highway. So no, the town would not be responsible. They would be if they're not parking properly. So there should be no issue, but that 170, it's a little bit tighter, and the sight line's shrunken down, and we just need to expand it. The sight lines.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the Google map now. Your concern is about people pulling out from this side of 170? This is 170. From this side of 170
No,
or from the
right
driveway?
here.
From the driveway.
No, right in front of 170, the building. Right, this is the parking lot. My concern is
I see
people
that.
pulling out of the parking lot of the gas station.
That's what I
Nothing to do with
thought.
170, because 160, 164, this is all tight.
Right.
They park tight to the building. 170, you don't have that ability.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I'd like to see it.
Thank you. And also, the chief correct, because either if somebody walk in there and a vehicle, you have to pass through the traffic on the main road to be able to continue walking through it, so.
All right.
Mr. Chair, it just makes sense, and again, the law, some of them were put in place in the 30s, and I certainly don't want to prohibit people from parking that live down there, because it's kind of tough parking, so trying to do the best we can do.
Okay, so the motion as it stands is that we're just going to add no parking 30 feet from the entrance of the gas station.
Yes, that's a simple way, yes, and you'll have a much better explanation for when it gets to upstairs.
All right. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Gus. Anybody second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Motion is adjourned.